Wait.
Yeah. Wait, I never had a chance to love you. Now I only want to say I love you one more time. And by the way, that album is listenable all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
Top to bottom, excellent, by the way. Thanks for getting me off topic.
Michael Wagner.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, huge production. A lot of compression, but a huge production. And the background vocals are ginormous. It's hilarious.
And perfect guitar tones.
Yes. Oh, you have to. And it's by himself. It's like one track.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. That's why you really have to, like, and yes, and one of the best guitar solos ever, TF says in the chat room.
Sincerely.
It's just genius.
No,
most people
perfect.
have some form of lactose intolerance, so that makes sense. Hal says Drywood Geek. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's it, and that's what's happening with Alex Jones. Look at Alex Jones and understand that when people make fun of him for quote-unquote being fat, largely he is bloated. And that is different than somebody who's just carrying around a lot of extra belly fat that they can work off with exercise. This is an allergic reaction that their body is freaking out. And it is not good. It means there's a lot of stuff. Their body is trying to tell them something. It's as bad as open sores. PHK said hairbands suck. No, they don't. They make people happy. And that is the value of them. And if you can't value things that simply make people happy and dance or rock out or whatever, then that points to you actually seek misery in what you're doing, and that's not what's there. So it's not that hairbands aren't missing anything. They are not missing anything. They are exactly what they are. If you're projecting onto them, I always think, like, even when people crap on Nickelback, I'm like, precisely what Buster Poindexter or Elvis Costello songs are they supposed to be doing for you?
Yeah.
What, you know, anyways, I am bloat shaming. It is true. Because that's something you could fix real quick.
Roach, on the other hand, they deserve all the hate they got.
Well, I will say that the sort of misogynistic, like, bro, like, long, short bands, I have issues with. But then, of course, those same shorts were worn by Faith No More, and I kind of, then you go, what do you do? And there's a beauty there. But that's a good side conversation. Love 80s hair bands. And by the way, announcement. I announced this on Twitter just yesterday, last night, really. Nerd Halen is going to be on the Monsters of Rock cruise in February.
Oh, that's amazing.
We are performing on the Monsters of Rock cruise. And we are also, the night before the opening night party, we're going to be jamming with guitar players and other players who want to join us on songs. So we'll have some singers come up and sing with me, and maybe even sing songs by themselves while I sit back and watch them try to hit the Sammy Hagar notes. And then others will come up and play guitar with us and that kind of stuff on the opening night kind of launch party. And then we're doing a gig on that show, and then I may, depending on the length of the thing, and I'm gonna do a ton of. Oh, great! K Paris is starting OMAD. That's great. Which is one meal a day. It's actually good for you. I recommend it. It's fun. But I may or may not hop up with some other bands that I like and sing with them. I'll wait until after we've done our gig so I don't blow myself out. But Tom Kiefer's Cinderella is performing.
Oh, neato.
And if I could, oh man, I would love to go up.
That would be fun.
Oh, it'd be so fun. Oh man, just so good. There's a Kicks cover band that's performing, and because they can't make it, so it does a mix of stuff. So I might jump up with those guys. So it'll be a great time. It's going to be really fun. It's in February. I think it might already be sold out. I am also, fingers crossed, seeing Kiss next Thursday in Irvine.
Oh, wow.
My buddy Stephen Brewer.
If Paul's up for it.
Yeah, well, if Gene's up for it. Paul's on the mend. He's resting. He should be fine. Gene tested positive for COVID. He is not in the hospital or sick, though. He's just tested positive.
He tested positive.
Yeah,
Boy.
but he's been vaccinated.
They've all been exposed to the same person.
Yeah, they've all been vaccinated. He's okay, insofar as I know. Gene has not been. Paul was down for a few days with it.
But Gene didn't have symptoms?
Not insofar as I know. So,
that's good.
yeah. So, there. Anyways, I'm going to go see them next Thursday. I'm very excited about that.
Awesome.
Why don't I like Pearl Jam? I do like Pearl Jam. Who said I don't like Pearl Jam?
Yeah.
Pearl Jam. Are you kidding me? Have you not seen my tweets about the anniversary of the album 10 being a nearly perfect album? I just said it's not grunge. I will stand that up against anybody. There is nothing grunge about, especially 10. Oh my God. As a debut album, that thing is lush. It's like a Pink Floyd record. I would argue, and I will stand by this, come at me, bro, that the Pearl Jam record is actually the hairband influence mixed with U2. That the guitar players in Pearl Jam grew up listening to hard rock, playing, Warren DeMartini riffs and Jakey Lee and Randy Rhoads and all that kind of stuff.
The lead guitar player in Pearl Jam is a huge Ace Frehley fan.
Totally. And they grew big Kiss fans, but they used the kind of lyrical content and ideology you would find in U2 and mixed it with harder rock. In the same way that Soundgarden is, in many ways, in its early starts, a Black Sabbath cover band. In their demos, they're straight up being Black Sabbath. That was the rebirth of Black Sabbath. That was them saying, no, real heavy metal was not Led Zeppelin, it was Black Sabbath. That was the early grunge, is really about that. And what was it? Oh, yeah. Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Mike McCready is the Kiss fan.
Oh, yes, right. And Smells Like Teen Spirit is a ripoff of More Than a Feeling by Boston, and Kurt Cobain said so. Same guitar. It's just the same chords, just played with a slightly different rhythm effect. But that's where he got it from.
Sure.
And the melody was in the same zone. They were afraid they were going to get busted for it. I like Nirvana too, but don't kid yourself. Nirvana was much closer to punk and what the Ramones were doing, which is take 50s songs, which are straight up pop, and toughening them up. They were not creating a new form of music. They were punking out 50s doo-wop, essentially. And in the same way, Nirvana was taking pop songs. It Smells Like Teen Spirit is from the tagline. I'm boring, Johnny. The tagline of a deodorant for girls. You remember that?
It is. Yeah, they thought it was a joke. They thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, Smells Like Teen Spirit is literally the tagline for a deodorant for girls in the 80s. Nirvana was punk. That's why I love them so. No, Nirvana was a rock band. And they wrote songs to be pop songs. He wrote pop songs on purpose. And you could argue that if you listen to the first Alice in Chains record, there's a couple of songs on there where they were trying to maybe gather a little of the Guns N' Roses audience.
Rob Brunswick just said that's not More Than a Feeling, that's Peace of Mind. When you did that.
Oh, yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah. That's right, Peace of Mind. I beg your pardon. So Alice in Chains, the first record, let's see. I'm trying to remember the name of the song off of was it Facelift? Yeah. I want to say like the last two songs on there. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna bug me now. Now I have to look it up. Yeah, that was Facelift was the first record, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I know something. And Put You Down. Put You Down were arguably them trying to do some sort of like junkie rock, like Mr. Brownstone, riffs like that. And you could tell that the label kind of like, we need to fill this out. Your stuff is too trudgy. They never thought Man in the Box would be a hit. They thought it was too slow. Yeah.
I love that song.
I do too. It's genius. And it's like, it feels like one of the slowest songs in the world, but it isn't. and it is closer to alternative metal than it is grunge by any stretch.
Yeah. I remember watching the Alice in Chains live concert. I don't know if it was on MTV. We were at Jimmy O'Brien's.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
I think Soretsky was there.
Mm-hmm. I had a friend who was working at A&M Records, this girl Jody, and she managed some bands for A&M kind of as the label manager early on. Mm-hmm. And it was like Burning Tree was one of them. She also did Korn right as they got their as they got their new singer, the singer that's been with them the most or whatever. But they had done a whole album with this other singer, and then they dumped him and got a new singer, and then the first album was him, and it was terrific. You know, obviously that's the show I got tear gassed at 7464 on Santa Monica Boulevard. Yeah, that was brutal. It was a good show though. They didn't get to finish it, obviously, because they had to clear the place out, and everybody was vomiting in the parking lot. But she also took me to the show where Alice in Chains did their first gig in Los Angeles for labels. It was 5 bands all together, and she was like, everybody was there to see Burning Tree. Everybody's like, that's the band, they're the next big thing or whatever. And I was watching the show, and she'll tell you this. We saw Alice in Chains perform, and I was like, those guys are the best band here, hands down. Beautiful harmonies, tight, amazing, just loved them. And nobody gave a crap. No one cared. And I talked to Jerry Cantrell. This was 1989, 90? 89. Maybe even earlier. Damn, like late 88 even, because I moved to LA right after I graduated. This was later in that year. Yeah. And they came down and they were playing, and I talked to Jerry Cantrell for like a half an hour, shooting the shit while other bands were up. And then years later, I sang Man in the Box with Jerry and Sean from Alice in Chains in Vegas at a then metal school show before they became Steel Panther.
Metal school.
Yeah. When they were metal school at this underground like lounge, and it was apparently the first time they got on stage since Lane had passed together. Deep. They talked him into it because they both came to the show, and the guys like coaxed him up, but Michael Starr didn't want to sing the song because he didn't know it that well at the time, and he was afraid it would mess up his voice because he got a very airy, almost Mike Tramp voice. He's great. He's totally great. Yeah. But he's definitely, some people have channels, and he knew, I don't care. I'll throw, people have seen, there's plenty of video of me singing Man in the Box online that they know I will, especially the up note on the third version of the chorus where you carry the Feed My Eyes. Eyes, where eyes, you carry it out. Like I'll just swing the fences on that. I don't care because it's so great. It feels so good to sing it. I sang with those guys. It was a really lovely thing. And Jerry, after I sang, he hugged me. I'd never, I don't know that he remembered meeting me back then, but when I sang with him afterwards, he came over and just kind of like, it was a deep hug too. It was really nice because I match pitch with, I like to sound like whoever I'm singing like when I do a cover song. I like to sound as much like them as I can,
Sure, yeah.
So, which is hard with Sammy Hagar. It's not hard to hit the notes necessarily. It's just hard to, you almost have to have the same shaped throat. Certain guys all hit that note. It's the same way that Steve Perry sings. They use the same head voice. Exact same technique, but your body will change the sound of the notes. That's just how it works. And mine sounds, when I do that naturally, closer to Jeff Tate. My natural throat, like when I sing head voice. So, and that's an interesting learning curve that you go through, So, anyways, I like when we have these after chats. It's nice that we can have this occasionally. I'm curious about, and people, if you see this later on as a clip or by itself, Tell me about your singing voice in the comments below. Let us know. Are you afraid you can't sing? Because I'm here to tell you. There's something else. No, I'm here to tell you that you can sing. And you know who's always been my biggest inspiration as a singer? Two of them, actually.
Who's that?
Neil Young and Bob Dylan. Because if they can make a living singing, anybody can. They suck. They're terrible. You know. Southern man, you're a, beat your head, whatever. Like, you can make a living singing like that, or like, you can sing. Trust me. And some people are like, I'm tone deaf. Well, then just sing the note they're giving you. You'll find it. Just sing until it resonates. You don't have to hear it through your ear. And everybody can be taught pitch. Everyone. Some people are naturally leaned towards it. There's a genetic predisposition to perfect pitch, apparently, because I have it according to my 23andMe. And bless the great gene gods in the sky, so does my kid. Camden is amazing with pitch. Nail a note. Like, you go ding and he goes, ah. Like, he sings along with a song or sings later like I do. Like on I Love the 90s, the reason why everybody liked me and why they used me so many times is because they would play the clip, and they never showed us the clip right before. I would just sing from memory, and then they would edit it together. Later on, I would be in pitch with the clip. Because that's the note. I know the note. That's the recording. Of course that's the note, right? And they were like, that was so weird. I'm like, why is it weird? That's the note. That's how the song goes, right? So Camden's like that. He'll sit in the car sometimes in his kid seat and just start singing apropos of nothing, and just he's there. I'm like, oh, it's so nice. It's so nice to see.
Stop pitch shaming, Hal.
Pitch shaming? I'm pitch shaming. How am I pitch shaming? I'm literally saying anybody could. Yeah. So anyways, I'm beginning to wonder if I should drop a 20 to Hal. I think so. I think you should absolutely super chat as much as you possibly can. At least until I reach like Alex Jones, TYT, Jimmy Dore, Hassan Abi, Joe Rogan level, which I understand is years away, and I'm fine. We'll do this naturally. Son of a Pitch is going to be the name of my solo record. It's going to be called Pitch School. The pitch is back.
Nice.
I'll just rewrite all these songs with the other word in them.
Pitch instead of bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll do fuck instead of rock on a bunch of songs. I think that's about time. Somebody needs to do the F-bomb where they literally take.
Oh, look, it worked.
What? Pitch and heat. Everybody's
the $20. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's great, guys. Thank you so much. Bless you, DC. Thanks so much. And thanks, Kenneth, by the way, and Janice. Is it Janice? It went by. So I can never tell if somebody's got a crunched name or a full name on that thing, because some people I'll go, it's Janice, and they'll go, no, my on-screen name is Jan Ice. I'm like, okay, sorry. You know what I mean? Because it could be. Old School Shinobi, thanks for subscribing. See? Dazzler Foo. My mom would always say turtle to us, and we'd sit up straight immediately. That's a great one. Stop turtling. What?
Yeah, I like that too.
So, perfect pitch can be lost as one ages. It can also be better. But there's a case to be made. Some people, they get tighter with their pitch. I mean, it's the dude from Deep Purple. Holy hell. That guy's voice just gets stronger all the time.
That Glenn Hughes guy?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Stephen Piercy?
Yeah, that's a little rough.
He's got
he didn't have a lot to begin with.
Well, and by the way, he's apparently fighting liver cancer right now. So love to him and his family, and hope he beats it and all that kind of stuff. Even though he hates my guts, he can't. I mean, he does. He hates me. He literally hates me. Like, he thinks I slept with his wife. I did not. I did not.
There's a lot of that going around with him.
I did not, for the record. I might coulda. I mean, I know I coulda. Not. I mean, not. And that's not on her. I'm just saying. I'm the goods in general, but it's not something I ever intended to do. And I literally had to yell at him and the Southwest gate at waiting in line for a Southwest airline flight in Phoenix, Arizona. He was behind me, a couple of people in line, and he was like yammering about it at me. Like, and at a point I was just like ignoring him, and I literally had to turn around, and it was packed full of people, and I was like, dude, I did not have sex with your wife, like as loud as I could. It was so insane. Wow. It's a true story. I mean, and by the way, I gotta say, 16-year-old me having to yell at the lead singer of Rat in an airport that I didn't have sex with his wife, kind of tickled by the idea.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty, yes. Yeah. Seismograph Hal, kind of impressed. Kind of impressed by that craziness.
Michael, I don't think Frank Zappa likes many people. Someone in the chat said Frank Zappa didn't like him. He was a troubled dude. Yeah.
Well, he made his way being troubled. And the interesting thing, he shared a stage with Dee Snider, you know, when they both went down and with John Denver and talked to Congress. And first of all, John Denver, a beloved family friend, random as heck, but knew my dad. Not close, but, you know, because he was always touring, always away, always doing stuff. But when I was 7, 8 years old, you know, my dad and him ran in the same circles in the bluegrass and country world. And it was just kind of random. If I had wanted to leave high school and become a country star, dude, that afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah. And nothing but the most amazing players on my record. I may have to just do that just for the sake of it, because I've got a country record in me. I wouldn't doubt bluegrass really, but
probably.
But anyways, Denver was a lovely guy, just such a good soul. And so is Dee Snider, just such a good guy. You know what I mean? One of my favorite people, just like you know, but Frank, of those three, you would think is like, look at Dee Snider. And then John Denver is kind of this square, and Dee Snider's kind of this wild man, and Frank Zappa's this kind of intellectual semi-jazz artist. Turned out to kind of be the dick of the group in some ways. You know what I mean? Which is weird. Do it, Hal. I do a little country blues. All right. We'll come up with something. I'll do like, you know, Dolly had a hell of a time when she put out her... I do talk with Dee Snider pretty daily. Yeah, on Twitter all the time. But you know, and I will be hanging out with Sebastian Bach in Vegas coming up too. So hopefully I'll tape a little video and put it out saying hi to everybody. And I've sang with him as well. I do not always talk with John Denver. Although when I'm flying, I've been, you know, I'm like, watch me. Lay a blessing down on me. I will not cut my hair. No, I'm not planning on cutting my hair as I run for mayor. By the way, you know, I filed officially, right? I am officially a candidate for mayor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll get some sort of referential document when they finally put it through, because I had to drop it off and it goes through a process. And I also have to go take an ethics class, or my treasurer does, which is me, before I start raising money. So that's, you know, I won't be doing that till either the end of the year or January. And so I got to set that up. But I'm running for mayor of Los Angeles officially. So.
Well, all right. You got my vote.
Thanks. You don't live in L.A.
I know.
You have to move there. You have to live there 150 days. So everybody's going to have to just move to L.A.
Boy.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to keep my hair as long as possible during the entire thing. Like it's going to be, I'm shooting the video that's my launch video next week and the week afterwards. My kind of like introduction.
I can't wait to see
what
that.
I'm running on. Yeah, so it's going to be good stuff. There'll be some special effects. I'm just saying. It's going to be exciting. I'm working on it.
All right, well, I still haven't done my run today, Mr.
Go run. Al. Get out of here. Beat it.
I'm going to go run.
You crazy boy. I appreciate you, and we will see you next week, and much love to you. Everybody send their love to Johnny Million, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Follow at Johnny Million 1, everybody. There you go. And off he goes.